Hi, I'm Polly Jean Harrison with the Fintech Times, and I'm here at Innovate Finance Global Summit. Would you like to introduce yourself for us?
Hello, my name's Thomas Donegan. I'm a partner at the law firm Shearman and Sterling and cover financial regulatory matters there.
Fantastic. And so what are the major trends that we're seeing in fintech currently?
Well, I can't speak for the whole industry, but I can talk about some of the legal issues which we're currently helping clients with and see people concerned about. I think the main thing that's happening is what we've seen over the last sort of 8-10 years, I suppose, is regulators and policymakers really grappling with what to do with this new industry. So, and there are two concerns. The first is a consumer protection concern, that people are using these service providers and they need to know what they're getting themselves into, and they need to have proper risk disclosure and they might lose some money. And then on the other hand, a wish not to stifle industry by covering it all in red tape and stopping businesses get set up. That's really been the story of the industry for a while. And the tools they've been using for that have been quite unusual. It's been a question of thinking about whether a particular business falls within a traditional category. So is a token, a crypto asset, a share or a bond or some other sort of security. And I think it's been challenging for industry, it's been challenging for regulators because, well, they basically aren't. They're something else. Is it similar to this or is it similar to something else has been the discussion so far. So that's been difficult. The main trend we're going to see, I think, going forwards, and it's been announced recently by Rishi Sunak in a speech, is that we're going to properly think about these products and have a proper discussion about which ones we really want to regulate. And we should see some proper policy making on that. It's going to be good because we'll have clarity. When you play around with the perimeter of regulation and decide whether you're on this side or that side of it, if you get it wrong, it's actually a criminal matter. So some certainty will be good. On the other hand, the direction of the certainty is going to be that more firms are going to need regulating. And what's that going to mean? It's going to mean more resource on legal and compliance, more AML checks, a greater professionalisation, if you like, of the industry, moving away from IT towards the sort of support functions you see at most companies, particularly compliance. That has a cost. And it also has a bit of customer friction because you're going to be starting to ask people for their passports and driving licenses and doing diligence on them and things like that. But it's also going to mean cost in terms of disclosure. So if you're a bank and you're trying to sell a product, there are very particular rules about showing past performance. You can't just show a good section of good performance. You've got to go back 3 years. If it goes up or it goes down, you've got to show it all. So we'll see a lot more around customer disclosure and selling and mis-selling regulations in this space as well. So all that goes to mean we need, well, we're going to see a need for a lot more in terms of compliance and legal professionals. Many firms are going to require an FCA license in the short to medium term, which will again involve processes and I suppose some form of red tape. And then the balance is going to be how we can do that in the UK or the EU or other countries that are having these developments without stifling. So those are, I see, the main trends. Unfortunately, more of people like me, regulatory lawyers in this industry, and both in-house and externally. And what will that mean? I think it'll mean a lot more sort of process and some cost, but also better disclosure for customers, and probably a safer industry as well, which are all good things. So.
Absolutely, and you mentioned a few things there, but what are some of the challenges that you think are facing the industry at the moment?
I think at the moment in the legal space, the challenges are uncertainty, and that uncertainty is driven a bit by people being a bit sharp about saying things aren't regulated, about the kind of disclosures they're making, about the kind of AML checks they're doing. So I think one of the challenges we see for particularly more upstanding clients in this space is that there are always people trying to play fast and loose with the edges. And then that creates a tension for people who wants to do things properly because they might have slower time to launch. It might be more difficult to open an account with them if they're doing all the disclosures and doing all the compliance properly. So I think that currently is a challenge. We should see more of a level playing field with that as the law becomes clearer. And actually, often more law and clearer law is better because everyone's in the same place, and it plays more to the the better organised and the people who are doing things properly. So I just see kind of greater professionalisation, if you like, of this whole space as the sort of main trend in my neck of it. I can't speak to IT, but in the regulatory and compliance area.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
No, thank you very much.